Adaeze threw the bucket of water across the compound floor and got on her knees. Not because she wanted to, because if she didn't, Baba Remi would pour the whole bucket on her head before she could blink. She had learnt that at 9 years old. She was 23 now and still on her knees. "See me," Baba Remi's voice cracked through the compound like a whip. "Come and eat before the food gets cold." Adaeze wrung the mop with both hands and said nothing. She had cooked that food. She had woken up at 5 in the morning, fetched water, cleaned the kitchen and stood over that pot for 40 minutes. But it was Simi's name he called. It was always Simi's name. Simi walked out of the bedroom in a new Ankara dress, phone pressed to her ear, laughing at something Adaeze would never be told about. She sat down at the table without looking at her sister, without saying a word, like Adaeze was part of the furniture, like she was the mop she was holding. "I told you to iron this dress yesterday," Simi said suddenly, pulling at the sleeve. "Look at this crease." "I ironed it at 6 this morning," Adaeze said quietly. "Then you ironed it badly. Do it again." Adaeze looked at her, just looked. Then she picked up the dress from the back of the chair where Simi had tossed it and walked back inside. If you are watching this and you have ever been treated like you are invisible in your own home, drop a comment and tell me where you are watching from. And if you are new here, subscribe because this story is going to shake you. She ironed the dress again, pressed every crease flat, hung it back without a word. By 7:30, she had packed her school bag, a torn black bag held together with a safety pin, counted 150 naira from the small tin she kept under the floorboard, and was heading for the gate when Baba Remi stepped in front of her. "Where is the money I kept on the kitchen counter?" Adaeze blinked. "I didn't touch any money. I left 500 naira on that counter. It's gone. You are the only one who was in that kitchen." "Baba, I was in that kitchen cooking. I did not touch your money." His eyes narrowed. That look, she knew that look. It was the same look he gave her the night he told her that she had killed her mother coming out of the womb, that she had fought her way out and dragged her mother's life with her, that Simi had slipped out clean, quiet, and their mother was still breathing, and then Adaeze had come, screaming, and everything had ended. She had been hearing that story since she was old enough to understand words. She still flinched every time. "Get out of my house," he said, "and don't come back until you bring my money." She walked out. The Lagos morning hit her like a wall. Heat, noise, exhaust fumes, the sound of generators and hawkers and buses grinding down the road. She joined the crowd moving toward the bus stop, her torn black bag on one shoulder, her chest tight and her eyes dry because she had used up her tears a long time ago. She didn't see the puddle until she was already in it. Her bag caught on a nail on a wooden stall at the roadside, and when she pulled back, the whole strap tore open. Her books hit the ground, her notes, the handout she had saved 3 weeks to photocopy, all of it scattered in the wet dust of a Lagos morning. She crouched down fast, grabbing pages before they soaked through, and that was when she heard the car door. "Hey, wait, let me help." She looked up. He was already crouching beside her, picking up papers with both hands, careful not to crumple them. Well-dressed, dark suit, no tie. The kind of man who did not belong in this dust but was in it anyway and not complaining. "I've got them," she said quickly. "I can see that. I'm helping anyway." He handed her a stack of pages. His eyes met hers and stayed there for just a second longer than strangers' eyes usually do. Something passed between them. She couldn't name it. She looked away first. "Your bag is finished," he said, standing. "I know. There's a woman selling bags right there." He was already walking toward the roadside store before she could answer. She watched him speak to the woman, pull out his wallet, and come back with a simple black shoulder bag, steady, with 2 straps. He held it out. She didn't take it immediately. "I'm not taking your money," she said. You are not. You are taking a bag. There's a difference. The corner of his mouth lifted. Not a full smile, just enough. She took the bag, transferred her books, straightened up. Thank you, she said, formal, careful. Daniel, he said, extending his hand. Adaize. Adaize. He said it like he was placing it somewhere he would remember it. Where are you headed? School. He nodded, reached into his breast pocket and held out a card. She looked at it. Daniel Okafor. She had heard that name somewhere. A company maybe, something big. If you ever need anything, he said. She almost said she never needed anything from anyone, but she was holding a bag he had just bought her and her handout pages were still damp, so she took the card instead. She did not know that Auntie Ngozi was watching from across the road. She did not know that by the time she got home that evening, the card would be gone from her pocket, taken while she slept and sitting in Simi's hand. She did not know that the one good thing that walked into her life that morning was already being stolen. Simi called the number that same night. She stood by the window in the bedroom they shared, voice low, one eye on the door, speaking in that soft, careful tone she only used when she wanted something. Adaize was in the bathroom. Simi had about 4 minutes. Hello, is this Daniel Okafor? My name is Simi. I helped you this morning at the bus stop with my bag. There was a pause on the line, then his voice, warm and a little surprised. I remember. I wasn't expecting you to call. I almost didn't call, Simi said, and smiled at her own reflection in the window glass. But I kept thinking about it. That was all it took. Daniel called back the next day and the day after. Within 2 weeks, he was picking Simi up at the end of the street, never at the compound, because Simi told him the house was hard to find. The truth was she could not let him come close enough to see Adaize, could not let him hear her voice, see her face, watch the way she held herself when she thought no one was looking. Adaize noticed the changes in Simi the way you notice a slow leak, not all at once, but in small things. The way Simi started smelling like expensive perfume she had not bought. The way she came home after dark humming to herself. The way she stopped snapping at Adaize quite as much, too distracted by whatever was blooming in her private life to bother. Then one evening, she heard it. Adaize was in the kitchen when Simi walked past the doorway on her phone, voice just loud enough. Daniel, stop! You are making me blush. A laugh, then the name again. Daniel. Adaize set down the pot slowly. She walked to the doorway. Simi? Simi spun around, phone dropping to her side. Her eyes went sharp immediately. What? Who is Daniel? The silence that followed was its own kind of answer. None of your business. And Simi walked away. Adaize stood in that kitchen for a long time. The pot boiled over behind her and she didn't move. She told herself it was a coincidence. Lagos had many Daniels. She told herself that even if it wasn't, there was nothing she could do about it. She had no proof. She had no card. She had nothing but a name and a feeling sitting like a stone in the bottom of her stomach. 3 weeks later, Baba Remi called a family meeting. He sat in the center of the parlor, like a king on a plastic throne, and Ngozi beside him, Simi standing near the window, glowing in a way Adaize had never seen before. Baba Remi looked at Adaize once, just once, and then spoke to the room like she wasn't in it. Simi is getting married. Daniel Okafor has asked for her hand. He is coming for introduction in 2 weeks. This house must be ready. Adaize felt the room tilt. She looked at Simi. Simi looked right back at her, steady, unblinking, daring her to say something, daring her to speak his name, daring her to try. Adaize said nothing. She went to the back room, sat on the edge of her mattress, and pressed both hands flat against her thighs to stop them from shaking. She was not angry. She was something worse than angry. She was hollowed out. She had met him first. He had crouched in the dirt of a Lagos morning and picked up her pages and bought her a bag without being asked. He had said her name like he was placing it somewhere safe. And now he was coming to this compound to marry her sister and he didn't even know she existed. The morning of the introduction, Auntie Ngozi came to the back room before sunrise. "You will stay in here today," she said. No explanation, no apology, just the flat certainty of a woman who had decided. "This is my father's house," Adaeze said, "and this is your sister's day. You will not ruin it." "I just want to. You will stay in here." Aunty Ngozi stepped back and locked the door from outside. Adaeze stood in that small room and listened to the compound fill with noise. The sound of chairs scraping, women talking, music from someone's phone, then a car, then his voice. She knew it immediately. The warmth of it, the steadiness, greeting Baba Remi, greeting the family, laughing at something someone said. She pounded on the door. "Let me out! Let me out! Somebody open this door!" Nobody came. She pressed her back against the door and slid down to the floor and sat there listening to the man who had looked at her like she was worth seeing hand her family a bag of kola nuts for her sister. She was still on that floor when the compound went quiet. She had made up her mind by then. She was leaving, not for him, not for anyone, just out. She would find a room somewhere, any room, and she would start again from nothing because nothing was already what she had. She packed her bag that night. Everything she owned fit into it. She was at the gate before sunrise when she heard footsteps behind her. "Adaeze." She stopped. She turned slowly. Daniel was standing in the middle of the compound in the grey alley light, fully dressed, car keys in his hand. His face was not the face of a man who had come to say goodbye to someone else's story. It was the face of a man who had not slept. "How do you know my name?" she asked. "The neighbor," he said. "Her daughter told her mother. Her mother found a way to reach me yesterday." He paused. "She told me everything." Adaeze gripped her bag strap. "Then you know enough." "I know that I met you at a bus stop. It was your card, your bag, your name I carried for weeks without knowing why it wouldn't leave me." He took one step forward. "I know I was standing in this compound yesterday, saying words to the wrong woman, and something in me knew it the whole time." Her jaw tightened. "Do not make this about feelings, Daniel. Your engagement is over." He said it without flinching. "I ended it last night in front of all of them." She stared at him. "Simi told me the truth when she realized I already knew. Your father tried to speak. I didn't let him. He looked at her the way he had looked at her at that bus stop, like he was placing her somewhere he would not forget." The sun was beginning to crack the Lagos sky open behind him, gold and orange, and the kind of light that only comes once in a morning. She looked at him for a long time, then she looked at the compound behind her, the peeling walls, the plastic chairs still out from yesterday, the door of the back room where she had sat on the floor and listened to her own life happen without her. She picked up her bag and she walked through the gate. He fell into step beside her. Neither of them looked back. If this story moved you, subscribe to this channel right now and hit the like button. More stories like this are coming every week. And drop a comment below and tell us where in the world you are watching from. We read every single one.